and tanned, or you may become fluffier and white, or pale, and that's just the way it is. There is no guarantee that the person you start dating, from a physical sense or a psychological sense, is going to stay the same way. But the way you feel in the relationship and the way the other person feels in the relationship makes an impact on that kind of stuff. Makes an impact on how you feel about yourself. Now, in the end, you need to do things for yourself first, and that's the only way you can really get back to a relationship. I hear people talk about how, I would do things for other people before I would do them for myself. There's a certain amount of the thought is generous, that you care about other people, but when you put other people ahead of your own priorities to a place where you're ignoring your needs and wants, you're going to end up miserable. And they're probably going to end up miserable. Because eventually you're going to say, I'm always doing things for them, and they're never doing anything for me. That's how resentment comes to life. There's just so much. There's so much wrong with going for someone just because of the physical aspects of your encounters, or your perception of what they may be to the world. I've dated women who thought I was on my way. I've been with women who thought I was on my way to new levels of success in media, and to good success in media, and they were with me because of that. Because I was an actor, because I was getting some popularity in the local scene when I was doing film or theater. And I seemed like the cool person, but I never looked at my success and decided I wanted to be with someone because of where they were going. I remember my ex. I remember that my ex, the longest term relationship I ever had, she and her family were in this battle of sorts. Because you know how we talked about in the past about all these drug companies being sued for essentially creating or releasing medicine that ends up having fatal side effects for people? Well, my ex's sister, her death was in relation to an issue with a medication. And, excuse me, they were going after, I don't remember what it was, 50 million or 500 million, or I don't remember what it was, dollars in money. But I told her literally from the beginning, when I was with her, that money wasn't mine. And she would talk about how great things were going to be for us when she had money. And I said, the thing you have to understand is that money isn't mine. And I don't want things that I haven't earned. I want love because I've earned it. I want great sex because I've earned it, and we have a connection. I want success in what I do because I've earned it. It goes back down to this facility. I feel like I earned the assignment. Did I get it? Most likely not. But I put my effort out there to earn it. And to me, that makes things more worthwhile. And you appreciate it more. If you go for a purely passionate approach to things, you miss out on a lot. You miss out on substance, because passion by definition, I'm not sure if it's entirely the definition, but it comes from a heightened emotional place. And generally, passion is very hard to sustain. Passion is something that comes and it's hard and passionate. That sounds sexual. It's strong and vibrant. But no one stays that way all their life. We all have downtimes. And if someone's with you during the passionate section, and they've only seen the passionate section, or passionate level of your energy and physical prowess and, you know, all these high sort of steroid versions of you, then when you have downtimes and you're sad, people are less likely to want to be around it. I'm not saying you should find someone when you're down and out, but that's why, for me, I've discovered that passionate encounters are great, but I'm always the one who ends up getting hurt. Because I put something into sex. I'm not trying to do a lot of sex talk, but the reality is that I don't come at sex from a purely carnal perspective. Because I'm almost a result of that kind of behavior, you know? I'm a little like Jon Snow in Game of Thrones. At least a way, like the series version, and I'm not like idealizing him, but I'm making a comparison because he essentially feels like he doesn't want to be with a woman for the pure sake of the carnal pleasure of it. Because he feels like it's his mother created a bastard, meaning him, because of that, and then she was left with pretty much nothing while the man went off and did his thing. Went back to his wife, went to war, did whatever, and as a result, she was just left alone and sad. And that's why I don't pursue purely carnal relationships, because I want something of substance, something that creates a balance and a pleasure evenly for both people in a more long-term sense. And I definitely would like I would love a nice long-term relationship with someone that, yes, I can have good physical interactions with, but more importantly, really strong emotional connection with, and shared interests in things like traveling and theater and card games and wine and dinners out and movies, you know, the whole thing. I'm not saying we have to share every similarity, but the concept of that kind of activity and interaction we should enjoy, and being social. I think it's a very sad state of affairs for people when you enter into something purely from the physical and heightened levels, or the almost not materialistic, but the sensationalized aspects of relationships. I think it adds up to defeat. I think it's when you make a connection within where you can truly find the greatest levels of passion and physical interaction. And if you're just caught up on someone's body, my opinion, simply my opinion, you're pretty shallow. And you have failed relationships because you didn't choose to look deeper. I'm not saying you can't be in a relationship and be with someone and figure out later on that you're not compatible emotionally. Obviously, I've done that. But I didn't stay in it for the physical pleasure. I left because of the lack of emotional satisfaction. And that's how relationships endure. Because emotional satisfaction, comfort, trust, respect, those are the ones that last for 40 or 50 years. And if you know people who've been married for 40 or 50 years who don't have any of that, well, then I guess it comes down to the saying, misery loves company. But I've seen a lot of happy couples that have been together for 25, 30, 40 years. They've weathered a lot of storms, but their emotional connection is what kept them together. Long after some of them weren't even able to be physically involved. Outside of, hugging and kissing. So just look for something deeper. I really hope people will. I gotta get off of here. But I really hope that someone at least listens and considers this. And I wish all of you joy and the kind of love within that truly adds up to something special for your life. Take great care, and I will see you tomorrow. Live with passion. Bye.